Hey, vibrant gardeners. I want to tell you something that's been bugging me all month. This year, we actually got decent rain. After a few brutal drought ridden summers back to back, that should have been such a relief. Better rain, less stress on the garden, right? Wrong. Some of my most sensitive plants are struggling more this year than they did during the drought years. More humidity sitting on the leaves, more conditions for perfect fungal diseases to take hold. Even with that, what should have been a better year? Okay, nature does not follow your calendar or your prediction. It definitely doesn't care what you were expecting. That tension is actually the whole episode today. Because July in Houston isn't one season, it's two seasons stacked on top of each other. It's peak heat, peak humidity, peak hurricane season. And why does everything suddenly have fungal issues? And at exactly the same time, it is the month you start prepping for your fall garden. It's quietly beginning, whether you touch a seed tray or not. Okay, let's talk about both halves of the July. Most gardening content checks out in July. It's like most gardeners actually checks out in July. It is hot, it is miserable to be outside. And the internet tells everyone just to survive until fall. Put out your shade cloth, just survive. Don't even think about going out. But here's what I want you to sit with. The plants you'll pull off in November, the kale, broccoli, cauliflower, those decisions will be made now in July, not in October when it finally feels like fall. Most home gardeners actually think in weeks, but we have to think in months. Okay, that's the mindset shift for today's episode. We're gonna cover what to actually plant right now for your summer garden, and then we're gonna talk about why your fall garden prep starts this month. Okay, let's see what's actually going or already in the ground. If not, it's going in the ground right now. Houston in July need not be a dead zone that people assume it is actually. If you love heat loving crops, sweet potato slips can still go in, hot peppers, um, eggplants. Peppers can use a little bit of shade, but eggplants will be okay. And Asian cucumbers, um, some summer squashes, winter squashes, long beans, southern peas, okras. Okras love our weather. Melons and summer goods, and also roselle hibiscus. Actually, my melons are a little bit of suffering right now because of all the rains we have had, but I'm actually tempted to plant more. I might actually do that. Um, if you notice the pattern, these are all the plants that love and treat our humidity, our home, our heat as a home field advantage instead of threat. That's the whole point of this July planting list here. Some herbs also do the same thing. Basil is okay. Rosemary, Cuban oregano, not the regular Italian oregano or even the Greek oregano. The Cuban oregano love our humidity and heat. Lemongrass loves it. Sunflowers, marigold, zinnia, and you can actually start some native seeds as well. And that is actually, if you noticed my notice my planting list on my socials, there is a tiny um, line I want to call out. It says, start fall veggies indoors. Here's the thing nobody actually tells beginner gardeners, that every crop that everybody loves in the fall, all the brassicas, all the gorgeous cool season vegetables, um, we, at least for Houston and Texas, we don't actually start directly outside in October. Only when it feels nice. We actually start inside in July when it is miserable and hot outside. So don't start them outside, start them inside. When we get to the seeds, before we even get to the seeds, my favorite portion of fall prep is subtraction, not addition. Before anything goes into the bed, it needs to be cleaned out. Anything dead, dying, infected, I'm pulling it completely out of the bed. It doesn't go into my compost pile, especially if it's tomatoes or if it has anything fungal. So whatever was spreading doesn't get to spread to my next plant. Then I feed the bed with fresh compost before I ask it to grow anything else. Clear it, feed it, then plant it in that order. Now here's something that makes Houston, honestly, actually most of Texas, genuinely unique. Most of the country only gets one fall planting window. We get two. Early fall is basically second spring. We can replant a lot of the same spring season crops, and later in the fall we shift to the classic cold season crops. All the brassicas, all the stunning cauliflower, broccoli, and whatever everyone thinks when we say fall garden. Okay, I go through the exact dates for both of these windows, and actually I go through this in very detail in my vibrant garden experience. There is also my downloadable planting calendar. I will link it to it. For today, I just want you to walk away knowing that actually two windows exist. One for repeating your spring, and one for your cold season plants. Because that is a big shift in thinking, and that actually changes a lot of things in your planning. Personally, I am in my seed starting mode right now. I am going back and replanting a few things I actually missed during my spring window, giving myself a serious second shot at them in early fall. Uh, I'm already looking forward to a solid harvest and actually planning my recipes in advance. So when I say fall garden prep starts in July, I am not I'm not saying to go dig your beds, get everything ready and plant everything outside, all your fall plants outside. No, I'm saying plan it. And if you're starting from seed, start your seeds indoors. Now, back to where what I was talking about earlier. This year we got a lot of rain than we have had in a really long time, actually. That's a big win. But in Houston, we have like super high humidity, and the alternative high humidity and crazy rain has increased the pest pressure. The caterpillars are gnawing everything, and the fungal issues are like going crazy. Again, nature has the final say. We only get to adapt to what's actually right in front of us. That is actually the biggest skill or biggest learning you can ever do as a gardener. It is not a single technique. It is a mindset. You, as long as you learn to notice what is actually happening and adjust instead of just doing it on an autopilot mode or whatever. If you are following a random calendar or following the seed packet. So I'll be direct with you. I still see so many people reach for spraying and before identifying. If you don't know what is actually eating or attacking your plant, you actually don't know whether whatever you're spraying will actually work. So identify before you spray anything. That is a big non-negotiable in my garden, and it should be in yours too. Okay. Before we wrap up the growing set of things, I want to take a minute for something that's been on my mind, because I think it puts everything we do in the garden into a big into it brings it into perspective. If you've been following the news recently, you've probably seen it. The multi-state cyclospora outbreak happening right now, and it's been tied to bagged salad, leafy greens, and like way too many cases have been reported across the country. And investigators are still figuring out the source. It's led to a lot of restaurants, a lot of grocery stores pulling their produce as a precaution. Here's what bothers me, it strikes me about it. It's not a once in a 20-year event. It's not. It feels like almost every single summer, there is some variation of it, a recall, an outbreak tied to greens that actually travel thousands of miles from one or two mega farms to your kitchen. The produce that has been sitting in the refrigerated grocery stores, warehouses for days, weeks, and then it still sits on your refrigerator at least for a few more days before it reaches your plate. And because so much of our supply runs through very few sources, when something bad is found, it's not just a few heads of lettuce that get thrown away. Entire harvest gets dumped. That scale of waste is honestly hard for me to wrap my head around, even though I understand exactly why it has to happen. I don't say any of this to scare you. Fresh produce is an important part of a healthy diet, and washing your hands and your produce, it matters always. I say it because it's made me even more grateful for what we have here. When you grow your own food, dinner travels like 20 feet instead of 2,000 miles. When you grow your own greens, your own microgreens, most of your vegetables, the food travels literally just 20 feet from your backyard to your kitchen. Not through a warehouse, not through a supply chain where one contaminated field can mean the whole batch everywhere gets pulled. And if you're not growing your own yet, the next best thing is going to be get a local source. Your city, your town's farmers market, produce from 10 or 20 miles instead of thousands. I don't take a single harvest out of my garden for granted. not after a season like this. Okay, now going back to our planting schedule and calendar. If you're gardening outside Houston, Austin, Dallas, or West Texas, wherever you are, the same two-season logic kind of applies to you as well. You're still in a very heat-loving planting time for summer crops. You still have fall. You can still start your fall seed trays indoors. Your exact frost dates might be a little bit shifting here and there, but it's still so far away. I will drop my planting calendar in the show notes. I will also add your add Farmer's Almanac and Texas A&M's Agri Life Extension in the show notes. That way, you can refer those. If you want the simplest version to walk away with, one heat-loving harvest crop, just add it to your garden wherever there is space. I'm talking okra, southern peas. If you have a lot of space, sweet potatoes. One herb that really thrives in our heat is basil or even Cuban oregano. One flower, zinnias. My favorite is zinnias. I would do marigold too, but if I have space, I will do sunflowers. And if you want to start from seeds, now's the time to plan your fall gardens. The last step, actually, a lot of people don't even realize we can grow a fall garden, let alone 2 planting windows just in fall. And don't be everyone, be you. Okay, before I get into what's next, I have something exciting to share. This podcast was actually named one of the top 11 beginner gardening podcasts out there. I'm super excited about it. I'm going to be super honest with you. Sometimes recording the podcast feels like I'm talking to the wind. You don't always know if it's landing, if it's helping anyone, if somebody's even listening to it. I honestly don't know if it's worth the time it takes to put an episode together every single time. So hearing that this is actually reaching the right ears and actually bringing some value to people means everything. That is the only reason I actually started this podcast in the first place. To bring people real value, and hearing that it's working is like it means the world to me. I'll drop the full list of who made the list in the show notes section. And we are almost at a full year of this podcast. 1 year. I cannot even believe that. I want to ask you for something super small. If this episode gave you something today, leave the show a quick review or send it to a friend, a co-worker, a neighbor, anyone in your family who's thinking about growing something. Or honestly, just send me an email, hit reply to the email and tell me you listen. That's it. That is more than enough for me. Tell me what landed, tell me what did not. I want to hear it either way. Okay, back to the garden. Here's what's next for you. If everything I just described, the what, the why, adapting as you go, sounds exciting instead of overwhelming, that's the kind of gardener Vibrant Garden Experience is built for. It's a group program that walks you through from garden setup all the way through building your repeatable seasonal system. So you're not actually guessing month to month. Doors are opening this fall. you can get on the wait list right now, so you'll be the first to know. But if you'd rather hand off the physical setup and let me build it with you, or build your dream garden installation, or also taking fall wait list right now. It starts with a conversation about your space, so just reach out. Whatever July is handing you right now, whether it's abundance in produce or fungal diseases or pests that you didn't expect, or a seed tray that you haven't started yet, remember, the garden is the one teaching the lesson here. I'm just paying attention right alongside you. And thank you for genuinely being here as we head into year 2. Happy summer gardening. The more gardens we grow, the more vibrant our communities become. Before you go, I have one small ask. And it actually has nothing to do with algorithms or downloads. If this episode made you think of one person, a friend, a neighbor, a fellow parent, or someone who's always said, I want to grow a garden, I want to grow my own vegetables and fruits, I just don't know where to start, would you share this episode with them? This podcast grows almost entirely through word of mouth, and every share helps someone realize that gardening doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. It can be gentle, it can fit real life, it can start right where they are. And if you're listening and wondering what kind of gardener you are, or what your next best step actually is, I created a free quiz to help with that. It's called the Growsona Quiz. And it helps you figure out your gardening style, your biggest challenges, and what will actually work for your season of life. Whether you're a total beginner or just need clarity. You can take it at vibrantrainbowgardens.com/quiz. And I will send you personalized guidance right after. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for helping this little garden of a podcast grow. I'll see you in the next episode.